Yeah, we had a great time. So, just kind of get started. Where do we want to start today?
I mean, you filled us in a little bit about how life has been, recently. But yeah, just how's life been, man? Like, what's God kind of been walking you and showing you?
Yeah, so for me, it's been like multiple topics, but in my life, all happening at once. So first of all, I'm married, and like 6 months in, it's been beautiful, and I'm just learning a lot about being a leader, how to step up, and like just I don't know, even just in little things, like I don't be the one to initiate cleaning the house or stuff like that, and I'm like learning, like dang, I need like this is something I'm learning to do. I'm not there yet, but I want to learn how to clean the house without her saying anything or taking out the trash, little stuff like that. And you don't think that that's a big deal until you're married. So for me, I'm in that season right now of just trying to learn how to lead and being willing to know that I'm not doing it all right. You know what I'm saying? Like being willing to be like, all right, I need you, God, to help me because I can't do this. And then also musically, I'm just super busy. Like I'm doing tons of shows, a lot of traveling right now, and that's been pretty taxing on like for my body, but it's also been really beautiful, like ministering to people. So I'm trying to figure out that balance and that tension of getting on a plane, being tired, coming home, sometimes feeling useless because when you get home, you just want to rest, and you know what I mean? And so figuring all that out and also doing a lot of planning for an upcoming project that I have coming out. And yeah, so just, I don't know, it's been a lot. And then we just finished the mixing stage of my project, so that's another part, just all that, you know? Yeah.
And I'll definitely say something with being friends over the last few months that I've seen from you that I don't think I've seen from very many people, not as like a negative to them, but more like as a credit to you, is I don't think I've ever seen someone who's taken their wife into as much consideration as you do whenever you're like making decisions and things like that. Man. And that is like a positive thing. Like, for example, last night, going to hang out with like, George and like all of them, being able to host a party, like you texting your wife before you even saying yes, be like, hey, like I want to make sure she's cool with this. Like running that by or whatnot. Like I don't see very many people do that. And it's rare. And it's good. And so like, I mean, I don't know if that was something that came naturally, or was it something that you had to learn that maybe a mentor was kind of like, hey, think about this?
So it was actually something that me and her kind of adopted with each other. So I wouldn't say it was something I had down. I think as we dated, we were long distance. So we had to have a lot of trust, a lot of communication. So going into marriage, we were already communicating about things like, hey, I'm going to be at this thing over here. But it's not just an all God thing. There's going to be girls there. I'm going to let you know. You know what I mean? And she would let me know with all that stuff. And it just built so much trust that now, I mean, we do that because we love each other and we just want to let each other know what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, to Chase's point, I thought he was going to steal what I was going to say, but I don't remember the last time I talked to somebody who's brought up the fact that they were married, their wife, and just been excited about that time in their life. Not that they weren't, but I just feel like you talk about it a lot in a good way. You know? So it's something to me where it's like, man, this new transition in his life was very impactful. And what God has done through that seems to be something that's been really impactful for you.
It has. I mean, you become one with your spouse. And so my wife is a part of me now. And our mission is tied together in Christ, and so how could I not, bring her into everything I do, because she sees the messiest side of me, the best side of me, all that, you know what I mean? And so how could I not bring her in publicly in conversation? Like, I'm not ashamed of my wife. In the same way, I'm not ashamed of Christ. Like, I'm not ashamed of who he's brought me in my life. And I'm so thankful for Rachel, man. So thankful.
Yeah, that's beautiful, bro. And it's something that I know, like, she left her job as a youth pastor at the church down in Houston.
Yeah.
Has been able to travel with you a little bit more. And so I'm sure, like, that's been able to help with things, like, a little bit there, too.
It has a lot.
Yeah.
We have, we've gotten, a lot of really beautiful experiences, on tour. We got to go like horseback in Arizona, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Where you don't typically get to do that with your spouse, but it's like these are paid things to go do, and I'm like, bro, that's from him because
bro.
couples don't get to just go travel the country together.
You know what's crazy? I think last time I brought this up was when we spoke to Jabron last year. So back in the day when God was writing the law, one of the laws that he came up with for married couples, to kind of deal with the whole divorce thing and all that stuff. One of the laws they came up with was when you get married, for the first year you weren't allowed to like do anything.
Yep, I've heard that.
It was just going to be you and your wife, y'all just spending time, getting to know each other and all that stuff. And it kind of sounds like that's what you guys have been able to do, during traveling and all that.
Yeah, we fought to do it as hard as we can, is to be with each other when we go places, to spend time with each other. But at the same time, sometimes it can be hard to be there at the same place every time because of logistics, and so we're figuring that out. But I know God has grace there, and we're just learning. So yeah, man, He's all about it. He's all about marriage over the other stuff, because that's your first ministry. You know what I mean? That's my first point of contact besides Him. You know what I mean? Like, she's right there. So yeah.
So then, going from there, something that we were talking about a little bit beforehand that we wanted to get into is like, we talked about this a little bit with PB out in LA, and then a couple other people as well. But we wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, as you met Rachel, as you pursued her in a relationship, marriage, and everything like that. Going along with that has been the growth of your career and like signing to Reach and everything like that. So what has it looked like for you to balance entrepreneurship in your career and relationship? Balance like both of the roles and responsibilities and everything that comes along with like both of those things.
Yeah. Basically, you're asking like what it's like.
Yeah, like how to balance that, and whether it's principles or stories or anything.
Okay,
like that.
so I'm not gonna speak from the perspective of like having the answers, but what I will say is first thing I'm gonna say is it's a grind to commit to her. Like, first, over the music and stuff, you have to really make sure you're intentional about it. Because I love my job, so I naturally am passionate about it. But I have to really fight to invest in her first before that. And the way that I think we do that is leaning on them instead of, like, separating the two. So for us, I like to ask her, hey, what do you think of this song? Or her coming to the shows with me. Or... yeah, man, just letting her be a part of all the behind the scenes business stuff. I mean, not every last little detail because she don't want to hear all that, but you know what I mean? Just bringing her in that world, it really helps. And then I think it gives her an opportunity to call me out if I'm over.
Helps with your humility, man.
Yeah, 'cause she can call me out and be like, hey, okay, you're really focusing on this too much. And so bringing her in also helps me level it out. And one of the best parts, though, I think, is that we kind of right now have like a little separation of the two whenever I'm done traveling. If I go solo, if I'm like out there by myself and she can't come to something, when I come home, it's just me and her. And so it's almost like in those moments, I can separate the two because I have isolated time. You know what I mean? So I go, I can grind, finish stuff, come back, and it's just me and her chilling. You know what I mean? So it's like work, rest, work. So it's for me right now, it is kind of complex because I know, for each artist it can be different, but for us it's a little bit of just as time goes we figure it out. So I don't have the answers. I really don't.
No,
I'd love to, but I don't.